do?
I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are currently live.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Thank you. Well, that took a while. Thanks to my son Alec for getting me up and running on live again. If you're out there, let me know you're out there. Oh my goodness, not sure what happened at all. We could not get this going. I don't see the comments section. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I guess it's time for me to get started, isn't it? Probably a good idea. Let's just see what we can do. So normally the video is such that I can see the comments to the right. I might have to be scrolling up and down. Alrighty, well, let's get to it. So this is tonight's card with this unique fold. What I love about it is you take your piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and you trim it down, and actually when you hold the flap up like this, it's the continuous piece of paper. So kind of unique. All right, let's make this exact same card and then another one. I'll just show you what we're going to do. So you need a piece of cardstock that is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and we're going to score it in 2 places. Grab my notes here, close at hand. So we're going to score it at 1 1/2 and 4 1/4. Get the scoreboard out here. And we'll do 1 1/2 and then 4 1/4. So just slide it over. 4 1/4 is the halfway mark. That's what puts your card in half, and then we're going to fold this 1 1/2 inch piece back. All right, so some space here. There's our score line in the middle. Let's fold that over. Grab the bone folder and sort of burnish that off. Then we're going to fold this 1 1/2 inch side back. You know, it's hard to see because of course it's all one color. But that's what we're going for. And I've heard it described as a backwards Z. All right. So then here's the piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we're going to cut it at 2 3/4 inch across here. So I'll get the paper trimmer out, do that. 2 3/4 inch, and we're going to trim a hair off it after that. So we've got 2 3/4 and 1 1/2. Pull our card base back in. The 1 1/2 is going to go on the inside. Flap like that, and you'll see how it just lines right up like that. And then this piece we're going to put over here, but as you will notice, it's a little bit tight because you've got that fold piece. So we're going to trim just a hair off the outside edge. All right, so to recap, this was 4 1/4. We cut it off at 2 3/4. We're going to trim a hair off this side. So when we lay it down, it's going to fit nicely. So when I mean a hair, I mean a hair. And you need to have a nice sharp blade for that to go well. Alrighty. Because if I put it in now, I'm just going to have a little bit of the crushed curry showing. And that's okay. Probably cut a little bit more than I needed to off, but that's all right. It will just keep it from bunching up under here. Rightio. Let's get our, hi Wendy, thanks for dropping in. Oh my goodness, had a little bit of difficulty getting started tonight. Not sure what's going on with the internet, but, oops, Alec came to my rescue and fixed it for me, so awesome. Love this card. All right, so this is going to go down in here, and it's 5 1/2, right? So it's the full length of the card. And if you want it to line up evenly, just tap it on your table or your work surface. I'm using liquid glue, which allows me to wiggle it nicely into place. All right, I have a little bit of glue there. That's okay. I just got a little bit extra. No problem. And then we're going to glue this on the right-hand side. Get that going. We had some really weird weather today. We had hail, which, you know, we think of getting in the summertime when we have those, you know, it's that hot, cold mass thing that happens that causes hail to come down. But it was just going great things this afternoon. All right, so there's our fun fold piece. And then I cut this from the scalloped contours, what do you call them? Dies. They come with a number of shapes that nest, and I just cut this one out. It has some stitching and some scallops. I like that one. And I'm going to stamp the little squirrel on there. So I want to show you a little tip for using these two-step stamps, because there's an outline and a body, and then an outline and a body for the other image. And I need my scratch paper. Oh, it's okay. I got some scrap paper here. All right, so we're going to use soft suede with this guy. And I want the body to go on full strength, and I want the inside piece to go on stamped off a little. So it's going to be a little bit lighter. That's how we use one ink pad and have two tones in here. It looks like this might be crumb cake, but it's not. It's all soft suede. So here's the body piece. And we're going to just stick it here and near the bottom. Full strength ink. There we go. Looking lovely. Clean that guy off. Somewhere we have the cleaner. There we go. And then we'll grab the inside part of this one, which goes here, and it specifically leaves some white areas open, which I could have colored in with markers or something, but I didn't on this one. And you're going to ink this guy up. So this is your second piece, and we're going to stamp it off once, so that get a lot of that dark ink off. And then we're going to go over top. I just want to make sure you can see this. I'm not pulling it down too far. You're going to lean right over top, and because it's photopolymer, you should be able to see exactly where to place it and press it down. You can use the Stamparatus too. And that's how we get a two-tone stamped image, and with a two-step. I like these little guys. They're kind of cute. And I haven't used it for a long time, so it was time to pull that one out. Then I've got some Cajun craze. Oh, and some ink, or some glue there. Got my Cajun craze. And I'm going to put a greeting up at the top. This has a really nice happy birthday that comes with it. The other greetings in here. Nuts about you. Hey there. Hope you're feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Actually, I'll do happy birthday, though. I always need lots of birthday cards. They're very popular. All right, so get our Cajun craze, which is in the paper pack. This is Rustic Harvest that I'm using from a paper pack's perspective. We just put our happy birthday. This little stitched rectangle comes in a set that escapes me the name of right at this moment. I believe it's Stylish Frames dies. Anyhow, I can put that in the description. And there we go. That's going to go on there. So we'll get our card back in here. And we're going to glue down the beautiful rectangle with our guy here. So what I wanted to do to make sure that I didn't end up with glue where I don't want it was I actually put the glue on the card base. So you could do a couple things. You could put a little line, or you can sort of like give it an estimate, or you could put a little pencil line. But I want it to go down here, but I didn't want it to squeeze out. And then putting liquid glue again, oops, allows me to wiggle it nicely into place. So right with this one here, I can see that butterfly nicely, which I'm not sure we see too many butterflies in the fall, but maybe. The squirrel's just cute. Just cute. All right, put my stamp away, because we know if we don't put the stamp away, invariably it'll disappear right off the face of the earth. Now we need to take our greeting, which has scooted over here. I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. So there's nothing to say you couldn't put dimensionals on that piece too, but it wasn't what I was going for tonight. Here we go. Put a couple on the back of this. This morning I had my class in Elmira with the community living group where we did the Halloween wall art piece that I had shared a few weeks ago here on a Facebook Live. They loved the project, turned out great, 11 people making it. It was fun. All right, so I'm going to use these ones. Now they say red and green adhesive backed pearls. That's not what they are. They're actually called festive pearls, so they have the wrong name on them. Probably been calling them the wrong name all fall. That's okay. I'm going to put some of the gold ones. I love gold and silver embellishments, and we haven't had any for a little while, so I was disappointed when the last set kind of disappeared off the annual catalog, but we have these, so I'm back in good stead with them. All right, so there's our card. Exactly the same, pretty much, as this one. So now I'm going to show you the same idea with another stamp set. So we'll start back at the beginning. Got the same basic pieces. Here's our card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5. I've already scored it at 4 1/4 because it was sitting on my paper rack as one that's already been cut. And then we'll score it at 1.5. So 1.5 and 4 1/4, fold it in half, burnish, and fold this flat back. This may very well be one of my swap cards this month. I think it's a really fun layout to work with. Oh, I want to put that away because I've got my paper that's 4 1/4 by 5.5. I'm going to cut it at 2 3/4. And this time, instead of using a continuous pattern, I'm going to flip one of them. So that's the back side of it with the gold. Pretty, eh? Or should I do it this way? I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe I'll do it this way. So I want to trim off a little bit of the larger size because it won't matter what side I trim it off of, because I just want it to fit nicely on the card base and not get stuck. Alrighty. So this is going to go in here. And then the shell piece on the other side. And I'm going to actually put a flower on this. I'm going to use the stamp set Color and Contour, which is the one that goes with the same dies that I'm using in this cards tonight. So it's the actual stamp set that goes with them. All right, and then this piece is going to go in here. Same thing. Could use the gold again. Well, not now that I put glue on it, but you know, you get the idea. Boop, boop, be-doo. There we go. Line that up nicely. Okay, so if it's a little too long and peeking out the end, grab your paper snips and just trim it off using the card base as a guide. Okay, that happens sometimes. And you can just tidy it up. All right, so then we've got our piece here, and this is another two-step stamp. And this time we're going to use this flower and then these leaves that go in. And they're not designed to go in to fit perfectly within the confines. It's good, but it's not perfect. It's more of a watercolor look. So let's get our two stamps out here so we are handy. And the greeting I was going to use is this one. So let's get those out so they're handy for what we need. Because we're only working with one block here. Here it is. Oh, could be a longer block. That's okay. I'm going to let it. Here's what you do. So if your block is too short and you've got a piece hanging off, it's okay because it's going to hang off of the die cut a little bit too. So put my scratch paper underneath there. And we're going to use the soft suede again. And we're going to do the inside flowers in petal pink. I know I'm not checking comments. It's not set up on the screen the way I normally see it. Hi, Caroline. Thanks for being here. I have to kind of scroll up and down tonight. They're not on the right-hand side. I didn't want to mess with it since we finally got the live working. All right, so there's our rectangle. I think I had suggested 2.5 by 3 3/4, and I just cut mine with a die, and that's basically the size. All right, so there's our soft suede for the outline. And then we will get the little flowers going here. And you just have to kind of play with the placement. So sometimes before I even put it on the block, I will lay it down on top so I get a sense. And I can see that the buds of the flowers are not going to land exactly within the confines of the soft suede. That is by design. And it just gives it a really neat watercolor look. I'm just going to stamp this off and see. Yeah, I feel like this is a very juicy ink pad, so I don't want to over ink it. Okay. So as best I can, I'm going to lay this down like that. And there we go. I have our colors. So that's supposed to be petal pink, the same color in there. It's probably going to lighten up a little bit. Oh, close that up. So very soft and beautiful lines on this one. Once again, I'm going to put my glue down in here so that I'm not going to get it on the outside edges. It'll position itself quite nicely. And also with the scallops, you can see more easily to fit it left to right and have it centered because you can see it's going over 1 or 1.5 bumps, if you will. I might put another piece of white in there or use my white gel pen to write with. All right, so for greeting, we have Here For You Now. And we will use, I think, soft suede for this. Here we go. I think that'll fit on there, will it? You know what? It doesn't want to. So let's go back to the one with the birthday one from Nuts About Squirrels. That's a really good one to work with. It's not swirly, so it's not too much one way, not too much of a swirly font if you don't like that and you want something a little more block letterish. That fits perfectly on our little tag here. And that's going to go down here with a little bit of embellishment, dimensionals. 1, 2. Here we go. Cute and simple. This card design, I believe was designed, well, I know it was designed by one of the gals in the TLC tutorial group that I'm a part of, where we do monthly tutorials for our customers. And sometimes I share them with my team. Sometimes, they go to customers, different things, and different reasons. I'm going to use these ones this time. And yeah, so it was a layout that I had not done before. I thought it was kind of neat and fun. so thought I'd share it with you tonight. I think it really lends itself to lots of different types of stamp sets for putting on here. You could also put a die cut on a circle or something like that if you like lots of extra dimension on your cards. All right, so that's the cards tonight. The one I made originally, the one we duplicated, and this other beautiful one. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here, especially with our technical difficulties and getting launched a little later. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be back on Wednesday night. Take care. Bye for now.